A day after ratings agency S&P warned that India could be the first BRIC nation to lose its investment grade rating due to poor governance, the government has hit back.
Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee says that S&P's methodologies were not transparent. But is the Indian government somewhat in denial? Here is a report with both sides to the story.
The Finance Minister at his North Block office late last night, well aware of the sharp reactions that would follow the S&P report that warns against India being the first BRICS nation to lose its investment grade.
It is disappointing because the IIP figure for April is just plus 0.1. We shall have to sort out our own problems, and for that we are taking necessary steps.
But that reality check did not take away from the political onslaught that followed. The BJP tearing into the government for living in a denial mode.
तो चारों तरफ देश में और विदेशों में भारत को लेकर एक निराशा का वातावरण।
भारत की ग्रोथ स्टोरी को क्या हो गया? इसको भी नकारेंगे वित्त मंत्री प्रणब मुखर्जी।
But the Congress coming out in defense of its government, calling these latest figures mere numbers.
You know, to extrapolate and say that there is a political disconnect which is holding up the pace of economic growth, I would respectfully submit is completely erroneous.
Despite these shocking figures, the industry unfazed at the surface, but also sounding a cautious note to the Prime Minister to push for important economic decision. This is the first such strong warning by the rating agency in the last 1 year, with the government putting forth a defense crumbling in the face of these shocking numbers. The big question is, are we living in denial?
Are we living in denial? The BJP definitely thinks so, and it's not a surprise that politics is being played out over this economic issue as well. Let's bring in Supriya Srinath for more perspective on that. Supriya, clearly the BJP using this as an opportunity to slam the government over policy inaction. How is this playing out in New Delhi? And more importantly, what's the government's response? What's the response of the Finance Ministry?
The Finance Ministry has said all along that this is really a global phenomena. India is not disconnected. There is no decoupling. And so, yes, a lot of the slowdown around the globe is perhaps reflecting in India's growth leaking out as well. But the fact is that the BJP has decided to politicize this issue. There is so much clamor regarding a slowdown. There is so much clamor from India Inc., which is hitting hard at the government. And why should the BJP not get into it? But listen to the voices of discontent that are coming from people within the BJP. It's an economist like Yashwant Sinha is talking on it. And then, of course, Gujarat's poster boy of reforms, poster boy of big growth, Narendra Modi speaking and telling the government how the disconnect in New Delhi is perhaps hurting growth. But they are taking a whole lot of cue from the S&P downgrade threat, Sandeep, and I would like to go back to that because the downgrade threat squarely points fingers at two people, Sonia Gandhi and Manmohan Singh. They say a divisive leadership like that at the center has weakened policy, making the power which really should lie within the government lies outside the government with Sonia Gandhi, and an unelected Prime Minister has very little authority and influence over his ministers. So that's the kind of, remarks that S&P has made for the first time ever. Any ratings agency has spoken about that in the open, the Sonia Gandhi versus the Manmohan Singh equation, and BJP taking plenty of cue from there, and Narendra Modi saying that, India is being pushed to the brink. The growth story is beginning to bleak only because of the policy paralysis and the divided roles that Sonia Gandhi and Manmohan Singh share in the center. But the Congress, of course, in no mood to accept any of that. I perhaps would want to go back and say, maybe, just maybe, yes, we are living in denial.
Indeed, let's also get in reactions that came in from India Inc. While we continue to see that kind of a political slugfest over that S&P issue, India Inc. is quite clear that there are issues with the economy that need the government's attention, and now.
I do not agree that legislative processes should be slowing down economic reforms, and that too urgent economic reforms. I do not believe that we should be relying on nature and natural forces to revive our economy. We don't have the luxury of time to go through slow legislative processes. I think this is what our problem is. Whether it is labor laws, whether it is investment policy decisions in FDI, in retail, in aviation, whether it is about land reforms, whether it is about GST, all these are decisions that have been pending for a long time.
BRIC is a useless acronym. it puts together economies which are not comparable. We have known for some time that Indian economy is slowing down. We know that investment is slowing down. The index of industrial production shows that while consumer demand is more or less all right, capital goods industries are slowing down tremendously. Our savings rate is down from 35 plus to about 31. Our investment rate is down. And so one really ought to honestly ask, forget about S&P, honestly ask, how can the economy be speeded up? And I think both political parties should actually be looking at that problem.